Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Absolute Universe News, your one-stop shop for everything DC Comics Absolute Universe. This is a very special breaking news episode. Usually I film these on Mondays, but just yesterday on Wednesday, June 10th, New Comic Book Day, DC Comics announced that Cassandra Cain is going to be the subject of a new Absolute Universe one-shot, and AIPT breaks it all down. So Cassandra Cain steps into the Absolute Universe. DC also revealed a new one-shot connected directly to the events of Absolute Catwoman. So I had a chance to read Absolute Catwoman #1. It's excellent. Great stuff from Che Grayson and Bengal on the interiors. But we know that at the end of Absolute Catwoman, we got a little tease of Cassandra Cain. So here's the first look at Absolute Cassandra Cain that we have. The artwork is from Matias Bergara, I believe, and we're going to have Che Grayson on the writing for this Absolute Cassandra Cain one-shot. The full title of this one-shot is called Absolute Cassandra Cain, The Shadow's Hand #1. You're going to want to let your comic shops know that you want to order a copy of Absolute Cassandra Cain, The Shadow's Hand. Since this is a different series from the other Absolute titles on your subscriptions, you're going to want to let your comic shops know before September 9th that you'd like a copy of Absolute Cassandra Cain, The Shadow's Hand. Like I said, it's going to be written by Che Grayson with artwork and a variant cover from Matias Bergara. Bengal is going to provide the main cover. So obviously Bengal doing the covers and the interiors for Absolute Catwoman, also going to be doing the same for this Cassandra Cain one-shot. The issue itself is going to bridge the gap between Absolute Catwoman issues number 3 and 4. It sounds like Absolute Catwoman is going to be taking a mini tiny hiatus of 1 month between issues 3 and 4, and right between that on September 9th, that's when this Cassandra Cain one-shot's coming out. The one-shot is going to explore the origins of Cassandra Cain within the Absolute Universe, and according to DC, this story begins years earlier when the Joker trained with the League of Assassins before slaughtering its members after learning everything he could. From that devastation emerged Lady Shiva and then her daughter Cassandra Cain. And this issue is going to examine how Cassandra became one of the most formidable assassins and reveal the connection between her and Selina Kyle. So we know that the Joker in this universe has been alive for a really long time. He has gone across the globe in search of knowledge to try to become the most powerful person on the planet, essentially. So sort of filling in the gaps on that, we know that he visited the League of Assassins, slaughtered all of its members, and then Cassandra Cain, Lady Shiva somehow emerged from that and make their mark on the Absolute Universe. Very different origin from what we know of Cassandra Cain in the main universe. Obviously the connections with her dad and then to Batman to kind of blunt her more aggressive side and truly become the Batgirl of the main universe. Is she going to follow the similar path here in the Absolute Universe? I did want to quickly point out some artwork that Matias Bergara put out in preparation for Absolute Cassandra Cain, this first ever look that we have for Absolute Cassandra Cain. He says ink on paper, digital colors. Let's take a closer look. So this would be the ink version. As you can see, Matias Bergara has a very unique and signature art style, and then here it is with the colors on top. I think the whole thing just really comes together once you add the colors, of course. And then very quickly, let's take a look at some of the Batman, Batfamily characters that we know in the Absolute Universe, and then we have below their main universe counterparts. So of course we have Dick Grayson. He's more of the medic for the Robin Squad. That's the Nightwing main universe, of course. Then we have Jason Todd. He is also a member of that Robin Squad, along with Tim Drake, third. And then of course we have the Absolute version of Alfred versus the main universe where he is deceased. Moving along, we have Cassandra Cain filling in that gap, her main universe counterpart. An excellent ongoing series out of DC. Really enjoying what Tate Brown was doing on the main universe title. And then we have Stephanie Brown, her main universe counterpart, Duke Thomas, Signal, of course. Barbara Gordon is probably the most different and significant change from the main universe. She's a cop in this universe and far from her Batgirl Oracle persona that we know her in the main universe. So those are the Batfamily members that we know so far. And then very quickly, I wanted to throw it to Scott Snyder. He did an interview with Comic Pop's Return where he went into kind of how Absolute Catwoman right now is the series where we're going to see a lot of expansion into the Absolute Universe, a lot of new characters getting introduced in the pages of this. So let's throw it to Scott Snyder over at Comic Pop Returns.
Green Arrow does have some big character introductions, and Catwoman has a lot, actually. Catwoman in issue 1, there's a huge character introduction coming, which I think will really get people excited and talking. And then by issue 2, there's a there's a bunch more, because what you start to realize is that Selina's past is intersected with a bunch of DCU, or not DC Prime DCU, but with a bunch of sort of characters.
ADCU,
yeah, ADCU, right? Characters from Gotham, as in addition to the boys of Crime Alley, you know, and so her story really is braided with a bunch of characters that we thought Che and Bengal really felt made a lot of sense to bring in. So I was excited to see them do that.
So this is just very exciting stuff for the Absolute Universe, to see it kind of expand more and more. We know that the first initial 6 titles, we have Absolute Martian Manhunter coming to an end, Dennis Camp, Javier Rodriguez moving on to an Absolute All-In title that we don't know yet in the next level. My guess is probably Doom Patrol, but we have to wait and see on that. And then we have Absolute Green Arrow coming in, of course, followed by Absolute Catwoman now. Both series of the expanded Absolute Universes are seeing great success, both selling out, quickly rushed to a second printing. A lot of the fans are enjoying them as well. And then just on top of that, it's really cool seeing all these different one-shots. They have the Arc M special. Of course, you have a bunch of the annuals for both Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman. I don't think we've gotten an annual for Absolute Superman yet, so that could be interesting to see. And then, of course, expanding it even more with Absolute Evil, showing what the villains are doing in the Absolute Universe, what they're up to behind the scenes, and expanding it in really cool ways like this with Absolute Cassandra Cain, shining a light on some really important characters from the main universe, showing what their counterparts are doing in the Absolute Universe. And then finally, before we wrap it up, I just wanted to throw in this tiny little note. So DC Comics, the publisher, also teased additional projects planned for later in 2026, including a new event miniseries set to launch during the 4th quarter. This is going to be that miniseries headed up by Jason Aaron with input from all the other Absolute creatives behind it. And we know that obviously this is a one-shot, so we can expect some other announcements upcoming, because to be honest, right, you're coming to an end of Absolute Green Arrow already. You're soliciting like issue 4. I think the solicit for issue 5 will be out next week. So what is next after Absolute Green Arrow and Absolute Catwoman? Also, are there plans to expand either series based on their initial success? We'll have to wait and see, but let me know down in the comments what you guys are feeling about Absolute Cassandra Cain. I'm so happy to see another Asian character get some representation in the Absolute Universe this time, so that's really cool. And of course, while you're down there, leaving a comment, like if you like, sub if you love, and if you really like, you can hype it. I'll catch you next episode of Absolute Universe News. Thank you guys for watching, and read more comics.